I'm Jessica Ridley. Welcome to Sustaining Australia TV 2022, coming to you again from Kellogg's Australia site in Sydney. Sustaining Australia TV is an online program covering the issues and promoting discussion around the key topics which are important to our industry. Australia's food and grocery manufacturers make up a $133 billion industry that touches the lives of every Australian. In this episode, we look at the importance of digital technology and the supply chain. We showcase actions organisations are taking in transportation, in advances in plastic packaging and innovative advancements in automation. We hear from the AFGC Chief Executive Officer on what the industry has learned about opportunities, vulnerabilities and resilience.
There is more work to be done, though, with governments to really get to the level of technology adoption needed to future-proof the industry in Australia.
And we hear industry leaders' thoughts on digital technology positioning now and into the future.
We have access to great technology. We have a well-educated workforce and we're very nimble.
Certainly, I think it's an area where we are going to be investing in the future.
The AFGC is a strong advocate for innovation and investment through our industry's supply chain. To start our program, AFGC CEO Tanya Barden shares her thoughts on how the industry is placed and what needs to be done.
Food and grocery manufacturing is strong, but it also has some vulnerabilities. We've managed to keep the shelves stocked for consumers, but that has come at enormous expense and a lot of work behind the scenes for the industry. We've faced a number of disruptions. Global shipping, domestic freight has been short. There's also been shortages in labour. Some of the ingredients have also been impacted, and there's been some shortages not only in some commodities, but also in packaging. So it's been a very challenging time, and on top of that, we've had a number of weather-related events. The industry can use this experience to make sure that going forward we improve the resilience of the sector. So we're working with governments on how to do that, and that will really come down to looking at how we can invest in more technologies and different approaches to supply chain management to make sure that we stay robust for consumers. Australia is at risk of falling behind other countries in technology adoption. A number of our global competitors face some really great programs within their countries that support manufacturing investment. We've been working with the government here, and it's pleasing through the modern manufacturing strategy that we have seen a focus on how important food and beverage manufacturing is in Australia. There is more work to be done, though, with governments to really get to the level of technology adoption needed to future-proof the industry in Australia.
Innovative technology such as automation has the potential to aid in the growth of the food manufacturing industry and to help deal with increased supply chain demands. This technology, though, hasn't been traditionally accessible for SMEs across Australia, but that's changing, as reporter Sarah Navin found when she looked at the work of packaging machinery and technical services provider PakServe.
The future of the fast-moving consumer goods industry is dependent on innovation that can meet the needs of an expanding population. Before supermarket goods are shelf-ready, there's an intricate and innovative packaging process that goes unseen. Here in the engine room at PakServe is where the production of Australia's FMCGs comes to life. Machinery to package everything from candles and cosmetics to condiments and cleaning products.
It can be a home business where somebody's manufacturing a beauty product or a fragrance at home that is doing high-speed production of fast-moving consumer goods, whether it be pharmaceutical or food. Occasionally we do some industrial and chemical packaging as well.
The Australian-owned company provides bottle-filling machines, cap tighteners, automatic labellers, sorting tables and conveyor belts.
Every client's requirements are different, and we have, I think, over 200 different pieces of machinery in our range.
The company supports around 150 individual small to medium businesses a month.
So what we're trying to do is to make that technology available to SMEs and actually make them able to compete on a global scale.
PakServe began as a rental business, hiring out machines and providing the installation, training and technical support. But a couple of years ago, it began designing its own range of machines, with all parts made here in the Marrickville warehouse. 15 staff take part in the process, from creating 3D computer-aided designs.
There's a M6 bolt that goes through there that holds it onto the body, and then you've got the air cylinder that attaches to the top.
To building the parts and assembling the machinery, all under the one roof. Through COVID, demand for PakServe's services grew. Businesses that relied on international supply chains faced shipping delays, increased costs of transportation and materials, and long wait times to replace broken parts on imported machinery. The pressures of the pandemic highlighting the need to make the industry in Australia more self-sufficient. There are more than 3.2 million small to medium-sized enterprises in the nation, and around 300,000 are in the fast-moving consumer goods sector.
It's estimated $250 million in small machinery like this is imported every year, and only $6 million is exported. PakServe says the packing industry has huge potential to grow, creating more onshore manufacturing and more Aussie jobs.
The industry currently employs almost 300,000 people and is the backbone of many rural and regional communities. The Food and Grocery Council of Australia wants to double the size of the sector by 2030 and increase the number of jobs by 54%. PakServe is now looking towards a new range, linking its machinery through a computer system to create a faster production line and one that can detect faults quickly. But it needs experts in artificial intelligence. That's where universities like UTS come in.
We have for students and very well qualified engineers and scientists as well who come out and can work in the factory with PakServe and with their engineers and do that kind of knowledge transfer as well.
Importantly, PakServe believes the integration of new technology and computer systems won't equal less jobs. Instead, an increased need for programmers, designers, and people who can configure the machines and adopt the advanced features.
The idea here isn't to replace jobs and automate things and do away with people. We'll still need people, but what we hope to do is have people that are upskilled and very well qualified for manufacturing for the next decade and couple of decades into the future.
A growing population only reinforces the need for reliable supply chains that can cope with increasing demand for food and groceries.
Having machinery that's able to produce more quickly and more reliable is going to really strengthen supply chains in the future. So over the next decade and beyond, I think these technologies will be transformational.
PakServe's goal to build machinery that is in demand internationally.
The opportunity is huge and we are chasing after it as quickly as we can.
We asked AFGC members for their views on the role of digital technology and the modern reality of a food and grocery industry that is anything but low-tech.
The first thing to recognise is just how diverse our industry is. And we're seeing complexity, uncertainty and volatility across the whole supply chain. And key to continuing to operate in this environment, to be competitive and service our customers' ever-changing needs, is being able to adopt new technologies, to add resilience to that supply chain. This takes an ever-increasing level of sophistication and integration right across the supply chain.
If you walk through a food and grocery manufacturing facility today, what you'll see is a lot of computer screens, a lot of people pushing buttons to adjust levels of dosage, ingredients, line speeds. It's measured on screen, it's adjusted on screen. It's really like one big video game now, not the sort of lifting, placing and type of thing you used to see. Very much becoming high-tech, computer-aided environment.
For us as a business, we're using software as much as we possibly can to know where our vans are at any time on the road. So, to me, this software technology is giving us a lot of opportunity to improve the economics of our business, improve the efficiencies of our business. So I think I don't necessarily agree that we're a low-tech industry.
The food and grocery industry is rapidly evolving, and that's being driven by data and technology. For example, at McCormick, we use a huge amount of data around consumer insights and trends. We even use artificial intelligence to help our food scientists and technologists develop and create new flavors and taste experiences.
Supply chain challenges have become critical to industry as we face the effects of global change. A well-managed supply chain that can deal with fluctuating demand levels is crucial to the success of a business. Automated system solutions provider Dematic is working with local enterprises to optimise their logistics operations, as Simon Reeve reports.
A successful supply chain and logistics model is key to the business and operational success of a company. Food and beverage companies in particular are facing significant challenges to their supply chains, and as a result, many are ramping up their investments in automation and robotics. With global experience in supply chain optimization, Dematic is designing and building new automation technologies to provide solutions to the challenges of recent times.
Logistics and supply chain traditionally have been very manual operation environments. I guess what COVID did is really highlight the need for organisations to build in flexibility, resilience, agility into their supply chains, and automation and the adoption of technology goes a long way to doing that.
Dematic uses industrial engineering techniques, working closely with customers to design their automated system solutions. Beverages company Lion involved Dematic in the restructure of a key part of their workflow.
The area which we invested in was a really high traffic forklift area. So it fit really well for us because the area used to have, between 10 to 15 forklifts in the area, right? And you can imagine the safety rigmarole that goes around managing that much forklift human interaction. The second part was obviously around the use of forklifts and their effect on the environment. And the third one was this is a real opportunity for Lion to take that leap into automatic guided vehicles and really start that next evolution of our journey. We could have just gone along and done what we've always done, which is use large amounts of conveying, but it never would have given us the speed and sustainability that we needed through the AGV setup that we got through Dematic.
The automated system solutions like the ones Dematic offers is no longer just an idea that might offer a good return on investment. These solutions are central to maximising a company's operational resilience and agility.
So pre-COVID was about, let's understand what our business model looks like and what does automation do for us. And I think what COVID did is bring in all the intangibles.
While the pandemic provided all manner of staffing issues for so many companies, demand for automated system solutions and their reliability suddenly exploded. Dematic found itself perfectly positioned to meet that demand.
More and more companies have come to us with a desire to adopt automation into their distribution operations. For a lot of companies who already had it, they had to rethink because there's been this huge shift from store replenishment into the e-commerce world. Food and beverage companies have a very big part to play in making sure that when you go to a supermarket or you order some groceries online or all of the above, that product is available. The partnership with Dematic can help build that resilience, build that flexibility, build that agility to ensure that continues in really challenging times.
Food and beverage companies are being challenged by the key trends of customer expectations, the growth of online sales, the focus on sustainability, and reducing energy usage and access to land close to the customer base. Dematic understands these challenges and is addressing them with their automation systems.
The main benefits of the Dematic system is the storage density and the reduced footprint. This unlocks cost savings from reduced rental, reduced complexity in servicing our customers, a reduction in shuffling pallets and transport costs, and faster truck turn times.
The more we innovate, the better the portfolio becomes in terms of what we can offer the market. Understanding macro trends is a very big part of our business. It gives us a window into what we need to be working on today through our R&D to be able to deal with what we think is coming.
Some more thoughts from AFGC members as they discuss the industry's digital technology future and how it might meet customer needs and Australia's competitiveness.
Look, one of the things that we saw with the recent pandemic is how vulnerable our supply chains can actually be. The more self-reliant we can become, the more that we can onshore our own capabilities to support our end-to-end manufacturing, the more secure, stable and sustainable our supply chain will be, and I believe more competitive as well.
It's a highly competitive and very fast-moving market, especially where data and technology is concerned. I believe we have a great opportunity in Australia because we have great academic institutions to partner with, we have access to great technology, we have a well-educated workforce, and we're very nimble, but we need to harness that. I believe the government can play a big part in incentivizing those things for industry.
I do think Australia is keeping up. I think it's an ever demanding evolution, but I think we are actually in some areas leading, in other areas adopting, and maybe in others lagging slightly behind, but with an intent. The intent is there. It's purely just a prioritization of these opportunities as we go on this journey.
From a product quality point of view, safety point of view, it's going to be very useful. I think generally in Australia, I mean, our food supply chain is well regarded. I think consumers do have a lot of faith in it, quite rightly. And so I think there hasn't been as much pressure as there might have been and maybe should be in some other areas. But certainly I think it's an area where we are going to be investing in the future.
And there's only so many things you can put on a packet, and a lot of this information is really important. But now that we can use barcodes, that we can use apps, people can access everything from where did the ingredients come from, are there any allergens they need to be concerned about, and an array of information that we could never have dreamt of putting on, nor would you want to have put on packaging. So it's really a game changer in terms of information we can provide.
A combination of lockdowns, raw material shortages and economic and political instability have seriously challenged global supply lines. Those who transport goods and food products around the world have reassessed their approach, their systems and their technology to meet those challenges. As Simon Reeve reports, Etihad Cargo has risen through this period to become the partner of choice for many in transporting high-value and fresh products.
Australia's international reputation is on the line with every shipment of food and grocery that leaves our shores. Nearly a third of Australia's domestic production is exported, whilst a third of our consumption relies on imports. And with growing demand for product traceability and transparency, the entire food and grocery supply chain has an important role to play, from the grower through to international carriers, like Etihad Cargo.
As long as we're delivering that product in its best condition, then we're going to uphold ourselves against any competition in the world.
Australian food and grocery manufacturing has a proud record of innovation, but consumers at home and abroad are also demanding that manufacturers are more transparent about where and how products are made. To be competitive, manufacturers need to embrace digital traceability and be able to validate the authenticity of product safety, provenance, and health or sustainability claims. Process and technology are integral parts of meeting the challenge and underpin Etihad's temperature-controlled perishable air cargo service, Fresh Forward.
So as yogurt and dairy, cheese, fresh meat, all those items have variable changes of temperature, and we can control that should that be required by the customer.
Temperature, distance and time are the variables for many Australian food and grocery exports. From the moment perishable products leave the manufacturer, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, we have more of that.
Jeff Haggerty is manager of Sydney importer-exporter AFGC.
Etihad Cargo's incorporated a new technology called Fresh Forward, and that helps us keep track of our shipments and ensure that the cargo's being looked after and the temperature's being maintained.
Over the past 2 years, Etihad Cargo has transported temperature-sensitive COVID vaccines to the world. And although passenger travel nearly came to a standstill, the responsibility of shifting cargo as part of a fully traceable end-to-end process became more important than ever.
So Etihad Cargo is finding our customers as the markets open around the world, they're looking for more capacity, more more opportunities to touch those markets and get their foot in the door as quickly as possible against their competitors from around the world who already supply those countries. So Etihad is looking at ways of how we can create more capacity with our aircraft types that we operate, and we are growing our aircraft type capacity in and out of Australia. So we're really in a good position to support that growth of demand that's coming, already happening, and we continue to keep offering more destinations as our network opens up.
Etihad Airways was the first Middle East carrier to be accredited with the International Air Transport Association's CEIV Fresh Award, recognising achievement in the handling and transportation of perishable products along the supply chain.
We're very innovative as an airline. We want to change things. We want to be different. We want to challenge the normal.
The relationship between Australian food and grocery manufacturers and buyers all over the world is as critical as their relationship with growers and suppliers. And meeting the expectations of international markets depends on the reliability and sector-specific capabilities of cargo carriers.
I find that Etihad Cargo provides us with the next level of service. They're very clear and transparent about what services are available.
Satisfaction for me is that I just see I'm part of a very big chain, but I'm playing a very small part, and my part is just as important as everybody else's. So to see Australian product go around the world, arrive, and the demand continue to grow and want to use Etihad Cargo, then that's got to be a great thing and a great feeling to make sure that we're doing our bit.
That's all for Sustaining Australia TV for this episode. Keep an eye out for other episodes which will look at the circular economy, sustainability and skills growth and the community. We hope you can join us, but from me and the team, it's goodbye for now.